A great network of lakes and rivers, the arteries of the continent, links Quebec to the land of the Huron. It takes a month of travel to reach a tranquil valley by the shores of a great lake. This is Huronia. The first Frenchman to go there is just 18 years old. Étienne Brûlé is one of the survivors of the terrible winter of 1609. A year later, Champlain sends him to the Huron in exchange for one of their young men. This is another building block of their alliance.
I was forced to stay all winter, waiting for company and escort. I took this opportunity to explore the country and to visit the neighboring tribes.
Brûlé is welcomed, taught the Huron language and way of life. His most important task is to convince the Huron to bring their beaver skins to the trading post at Quebec each spring.
After having spent some time with these savages, I determined to withdraw to our settlement. And taking leave of them, I promised to introduce them to the French. I would return as soon as I could.
Étienne Brûlé's commercial mission is a success, but he will return from Huronia a different man.
On the 13th of June, 200 Indians brought back Étienne Brûlé, who came back dressed like an Indian. He was well pleased with the treatment he had received. He explained to me all that he had seen during the winter and what he had learned from them. He had learned their language very well.
Other young men follow him: Duvernay, Desmarais, Jean Nicolet. Guided by their Indian allies, they travel through the lakes and rivers, learning more about the lands to the west. The trading system of the Huron and the French now reaches into the heart of the continent. Before long, the little outpost at Quebec is receiving 15,000 beaver skins a year. The Indians are satisfied too. A Montagnier boasts that trade makes them wealthy and more powerful.
The beaver does everything perfectly well for us. It makes kettles, hatchets, swords, knives. In short, it makes everything.
In 1615, Champlain visits Huronia, discovering a complex and fascinating society.
In this extent of country, there are 18 villages, which may amount to 30,000 souls. Their lodges are covered with tree bark. And at the end of these cabins is a space where they keep their Indian corn. In one such cabin, there could be as much as 12 fires and 24 families.
As he comes to know the Huron better, Champlain decides they can be more than commercial and military allies.
I realized that it would be a great sin if I did not devise some means of bringing them to the knowledge of God. To attain this end, I looked for some good friars with zeal for the glory of God.
The Récollets are the first to bring word of the Christian God into the Canadian forest. One of them, Gabriel Sagard, is astonished by the Huron reaction to the French.
They have such a horror of the beard that sometimes when they try and insult us, they call us sesco ignorante, that is to say bearded. Moreover, they think it makes people more ugly and weakens their intelligence. Thus, these good folk think of us as very unintelligent by comparison with themselves. And at every moment, and on the slightest occasion, they say to you, Tayon Dion, that is to say, you have no sense.
Sagard is also scandalized by the conduct of his French countrymen. Trade and religion do not go together well.
Most of the blame for the interference was on the part of the French. Their immoral lifestyle aside, most among them did not want us to convert any Indian. They were afraid it might disrupt the beaver trade, one and only reason for their journey. My God, my blood runs cold when I think that a beaver pelt meant more to them than the salvation of a people.